Today I'm going to show y'all how to make a checkered chunky knit blanket. What you're going to need is 3 of the light gray skeins of yarn, as well as 3 ivory. And then you're going to need measuring tape, a lighter, and scissors. To get started, my first row of checkers is going to be with the color scheme of gray, white, gray. So you can go ahead and set your other 3 skeins of yarn aside because you will not be using those yet. I took the packaging off these 3 skeins of yarn and then I unraveled them a little bit. So we're going to start with our gray. We're going to fold our yarn over and pull through the back to create a slip knot. And then pull through the back again. And we're going to make our second stitch. 3, 4, 5, and we're going to go to 8 with this color. 6, 7, 8. All right, so now we're going to grab our ivory and we're going to leave a little bit of a tail, but just continue our loops. So just leave a couple inches for a tail at the bottom, and this is how you connect your next color. So we're going to do 8 loops as well of the white. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we have 16 stitches in total. Now I'm going to grab my next color, which is the gray, leave a little bit of a tail, and just do the same thing. Continue your loops, and we're going to connect the next color, and we're going to do 8 loops. So 8 for each of these colors. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that completes our first row, which is 35 inches. So going from there, we're going to start working up to create the length of the blanket. So instead of doing a loop going out, we're going to pull the loop up to make your second row. So just make sure that however many loops you did at the bottom, which was 24, you have 24 going across in the next row. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the most important step of the checkered blanket. Now that we've finished our gray, we're going to change over to our white. To do this, you're going to grab your skeins of yarn and you're going to overlap these colors, pull it tight, and then overlap them again. That way you're back to where you started. Pull the base tight, and this just really locks in the color change. If you don't do this, basically your blanket's going to unravel in that area where you switched from gray to white. So every time you do a color change to the next checker, you're going to overlap them twice. So now that we did that, we're off to the ivory. So do 8 loops. We're on to the next color. So you're going to cross over your 2 skeins and pull the base tight, and then cross over again so you're back to where you started. pull it, and then continue your second row. Onto our third row. Each checker is going to be 8 stitches across and then 8 stitches up, and that's going to create your first row of checkers. And then from there, I'm going to show y'all how to do the next pattern.
Turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands, on we'll go.
So after working 8 rows up, we have just completed our first row of checkers. By the end of this blanket, you're going to have 5 checkers going up. Okay, so to change the color, you are going to grab your scissors and you're going to cut off each skein of yarn. And just try to remember where your place is, because this is where you're going to reconnect your next color. Okay, cut it pretty close. And then just pull off that excess fuzz. And then do it for your last one. Okay, so now we're going to move the gray in the middle. We're going to have white on the side, and then we're going to trade this gray out for another ivory. And we're going to connect that here. So to connect the next skein of yarn, we're going to do the burning method. So just let that burn for a couple seconds and connect it. Hold it for a few seconds. And now we have our color change from gray to ivory. Now we're going to connect the gray. Just hold for a few seconds. And lastly, connect this ivory. We're on our next row of checkers. The pattern is going to be ivory, gray, ivory. You're just going to continue the same method. You're going to go 8 rows up, and then when you're doing a color change, just make sure you are crossing over your skeins of yarn twice to really lock in that color. And by the time you finish the blanket, you should have 5 checkers going up. And then when we get to the end, I'm going to show you how to tie off the blanket and then secure these, cut off the tails and secure them into the side.
Turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands, on we'll go.
Okay, so we just completed our next row of 8 by 8 stitch checkers, and we're just going to alternate the color pattern. So it's ivory, gray, ivory, and then the next row of checkers is going to be gray, ivory, gray. We reached the end of our blanket, so we're going to braid the last row and then tie it off. To braid the last row, you're going to fold your first loop over your second loop and pull your working yarn through the back. And just repeat that. So fold your next loop over, pull through the back. We braided it off, and so now we're just going to snip off the ends of all of this extra yarn. So you're going to leave a good bit of length left because you're going to tie it in a knot. So cut off each of your skeins and leave about this much left, and then we'll go from there.
These we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the...
Okay, each one of these extra tails, you're just gonna tie a knot. To really secure it. Cut the end even more. And then just burn it into the side. Just where you can't notice, so try to burn it like down. And you're gonna do that with each extra tail. So just tie everything off in a knot, cut the end, and then burn it into the side. So you should have 3 at the top, and then 3 at the bottom. All right, and she's all done. Here is the chunky knit checkered row in light gray and ivory.